Hi class, today we will be drawing and measuring angles with a protractor. This is found in 10-8 and 10-9. Our goal is today we'll draw and measure angles. Our first vocab word is angle. That's the geometric shape formed by two lines with the shared endpoint as the vertex. So I have a vertex here, and it goes off in this direction. Sorry, two rays. Should be two rays. Two rays. So I have A, B, and C, and we can call this angle A, B, C, or if I go the other direction, angle C, B, A, or just by the vertex, I can call it angle B. Okay, we have this new vocab word. It's a protractor, and I actually have one right here that I'm going to show you. So we have our protractor. Right here we have our center or origin. This is our baseline. We have our outer scale, and then we have our inner scale. So protractor is a tool to use to measure an angle's opening. So degree is what we're measuring the protractor with. That's the unit of the measure of an angle, and there are 360 in a circle. So I'm going to give you two sets of steps. It's important that you pay attention to which set you need to do when you're doing your problems. For the first steps, those are the steps for when a ray is given, you need to draw an additional ray. So first you need to estimate the size of the angle. Then you need to find the degrees on a protractor. Step 3 is line the center of the protractor to the end point of the ray and mark degrees with a dot. Then you're going to draw a line from the end point to the dot. Okay, our second set of steps say you use these when the entire angle is given and you need to find the degrees. So you need to estimate the size of the angle. Then you need to align the center or the origin of the protractor with the vertex. Protractor with the vertex of the angle. Then step 3 is you're going to align one ray of the angle with 0. And then step 4, you're going to find the measure of an angle by locating the intersection of the second ray with the protractor. Okay, I'm getting out my red pens here and pause. You're gonna watch. Okay, so I'm given a ray. I need to draw an additional ray to make my angle. So if you just see one ray, you know you use the first set. Let's actually go back and draw on this right here. Put parentheses and just draw one ray. Okay, and on this set, let's go ahead and put parentheses. That's when you have an angle. So now you have a visual, you know, oh, I see my ray, I need to go to this set of steps. Okay, so step 1 says estimate the size of the angle. Kevin designed a new roof for his house. The top of the roof has a 125-degree angle. Use the protractor to draw the 125 angle with a given ray. I'm estimating right now, sorry, I need to turn to use red. I'm estimating now, I know 90 degrees is like this, but 125 is more. If I had a line going like this, that's 180. So I know that it's gonna have to be somewhere like this. So this is gonna be my angle right in there. actually that looks like I made it crossed off. Let's do that again. I'm gonna draw this angle to here. That's my estimates right here. Okay. Second step, find the degrees on the protractor. So I have my protractor and I need to look for 125. I found it right there for the inner, and I could find it again on the outer depending on which one I'm going to use. I'm going to probably use the center one. Okay. Step 3, line the center of the protractor to the end point of the ray and mark degrees with the dot. So I'm going to line it up. So I put the end point in the center. I need to line up my my baseline with that arrow perfectly. I can't have it like this. Do you see how the line is going off? It has to go straight out that point of the angle. Okay, now I need to mark a dot over here where it says 125 degrees. So I found it. It's in between 120 and 130. So I mark that dot, and then my next step is draw a line from the end point to the dot. So now that I have my dot, I'm going to lift it. I'm going to line it up so that both dots touch the protractor, and now I draw my line. I draw an angle or an arrow to make that angle. So right here, this is pretty close to what we estimated. It's just going a different direction. Okay, we have our second step. It says Ted wants to fix a leaky roof, measure the angle the ladder forms with the ground. So I'm looking just at this part right here. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so I see that. So I'm using this little angle right there from the ground to the ladder, so this side. Okay, so I'm given an angle, so I find this set of steps. I need to estimate that. I know that my angle, if I was to draw this, this would be 90. So I know that has to be less than 90, and I'm just going to estimate it like this. If I cut it in half, that would have been 45. That looks a little bit more upright to me, so I'm gonna guess just a little bit more like that. I'm gonna say that's probably 60 degrees. That's my estimate. So a little bit more than 45, but still less than 90. Now I need to align the center or origin of the protractor with the vertex of the angle. And right here is my vertex. That's where they meet up. So I'm going to align the center with that vertex. And remember that when I do this, I have to line up the other line perfectly. Okay. Now, align one ray with the angle with 0, which we just did that. That's what it says when we're making the end point. I mean the baseline line up, that's lining up with 0. Now we need to find the measure of the angle by locating the intersection of the second ray with the one on the protractor. Okay, so now I need to, this is sometimes difficult to do with one. I like to also use a ruler. I don't have a second ruler right here, so I'm going to use the end of a protractor. So I like to line it flat, and I like to drag it up till it meets the other angle. And right here on this protractor, I see that it lines up with 120, and it lines up with 60. I know that based off of my estimate, it was not obtuse, it was not 120, so I have to go with the smaller one of 60. So this degree is 60 degrees, and that's actually what we estimated it as. Okay. So when we're doing this in class, I will let you borrow my protractors and a ruler. we're getting out our pencils, so our green pens. Here are our notes. Okay, so we're going to use that first set of steps because I just see a ray. It says Patricia's rose bushes receive the sunlight at 10:30 a.m. when the sun is at a 50-degree angle in relation to the horizontal line. Draw the angle. So step number 1 is estimate the size. So if I have, this is my 90 degrees. If I cut that in half, that is 45. So slightly bigger. I'm going to go that way slightly with it. So here's my estimate of 50 degrees. So now I need to find the degrees on the protractor, and then I need to line the center of the protractor to the end point of the ray and mark the degrees with the dot. Okay, so I have my protractor. I line up the center. Make sure that the arrow is going through that baseline. I need to find 50 degrees here. I'm going to draw a dot. I'm going to lift my protractor, use the ruler side, connect the dots, and draw my arrow. So this is my angle of 50 degrees, which is pretty close to our estimate again. When you're doing this, you have to draw all of yours with a ruler. There's no freehanding for your estimate or for this. Okay, our next set of problems says Jody's car broke down and had to be towed to the mechanic. As the car was pulled on the tow truck, the ramp raised at an angle with the road. What is the measure of the angle? So we're looking at right here to here, and they give you a little arrow. So I see an angle, so I have to use this set of steps. So first step is estimate the angle. I know that's less than 90. I know it's less than 45, so I'm going to say that this is approximately 30 degrees. And I know that because if I had my 90, that would be 45. It looks a little bit smaller than that. So this would have been my 30, 60, 90. So I'm estimating this angle right here to be my 30. It's just going the other direction. Okay, my next step says align the center of the protractor with the vertex of the angle. So my vertex is right here. I need to align the center. I need to align that baseline. There we go. Okay, I align the baseline. Now, I'm being very careful with my baseline right now. Okay, so now I need to align one ray of the angle with 0, which we just did. Now I need to find the measure of the angle by locating the intersection of the second ray with the protractor. So now I take my second one, I go along that ramp, and I see that it intersects over here at 160 and 20. Based off of my estimate, I know that it's going to have to be 20 degrees. It's less than that 90, so I have to go with the smaller one. Okay, we have 2 homework problems, and then rate your understanding.